Hello again, this is Doug, the 2-Minute Gardener. Well, here's a question I get asked a lot. Should I do rock mulch or wood mulch for my new landscape? Now, mulch is really important to put down, especially this time of year before all the rains come, because that will help stop the weeds from spreading all over the place, especially young, small gardens like these where the plants have small root systems. You want to give them a little bit of insulation. So which one is better, rock or wood mulch? And we'll look at both, and we'll look at variations on both in just a second. So first up, we're going to look at some rock mulch examples. So with rock mulch, it's important to realize that it's about 4 to 6 times more expensive than wood mulch. So that's one of the disadvantages. One of the advantages is that it's not going to break down. You're not going to replace it. It's also easier to clean up. You can use a blower to blow the clippings off, and it's not going to break down. Now, there are a lot of different types of rock mulch out there, as you're going to show you in this video. So the nice thing about rock mulch is a lot of different variety of those types of mulches. As you see here, you have small little mulch like DG, and I'll show you some examples of decomposed granite being used as mulch, to crushed gravel, to pea gravel, all the way up to some big Mexican beach pebbles, which are really common here in California. Now, the thing to keep in mind with this, again, as I mentioned earlier, is that it is expensive. So Arizona cobble, which is the cheapest of all of the rock mulches here in Southern California, goes for about $100 a ton. What does a ton do? A ton will cover about 100 square feet, 2 inches deep. Compare that to wood mulch. Wood mulches generally go for about $50 to $100 a square foot. I mean, a cubic yard rather, and that covers about the same amount of space. So Arizona cobble is only about twice as expensive, but it is the very cheapest of all these particular mulches you're looking at. Again, some of these are really nice. Arizona cobble is nice, but not great. The Mexican Beach Buff series are really beautiful, but those are about $350 a ton. So again, very low maintenance, don't need to replenish it, but more expensive if you're doing large projects. The other disadvantage of rock mulch is if you live someplace where it gets hot, this will also get hot. So certain plants can't handle excessive amounts of heat, and also visually it doesn't look great. If you have a garden with roses and azaleas, things like that, you don't want to have necessarily rock mulch because it'll overheat the roses, and also visually it doesn't look as nice. But if you have a succulent garden like this, and this is a newly planted succulent garden, it's going to fill in really nicely and complement the succulents really nice and be really low maintenance. As I mentioned, you can also do decomposed granite mulch, and it's kind of a nice way to also complement it and give you a nice look without needing replenishing. Finally, on the rock mulch category is a mulch called barkwood. Now, barkwood is what you see here. It looks like bark, but it actually is a rock mulch. It does not need replenishing, but it does look like wood mulch from a distance. It's a really wonderful new mulch. Not available in lots of places, but it is available off and on throughout Southern California. But it is expensive. It's about $600 a ton. So again, about 6 times the cost of wood mulch, but never needs replenishing. Really a nice looking type of mulch. And here it is again with this particular garden. It looks like wood mulch from a distance, but that actually is bark wood mulch. All right, so now let's talk about wood mulch. So wood mulch is very commonly used, a wonderful product, lots of different kinds of wood mulch. The advantage of wood mulch is that it will break down and help recondition the soil, and has lots of, and as well as being an affordable product. Again, anywhere from $50 to $100 a cubic yard, which again will cover about 100 square feet. And so it's lighter, it's more plant friendly because it does break down. It's cooler, so if you live someplace where it's really hot, wood mulch is a really good way to go. Now, the disadvantage, it does break down. You are going to have to reapply wood mulch about every 2 to 3 years, depending on the weather. One more important thing about mulch, another way that's really important, I always recommend you put down some landscape fabric. So that'll also help with some of the weed issues as well. So getting back to the wood mulch, I want to point out a couple different things. Oh, and by the way, if you have a slope, use the jute netting because that'll help hold the mulch on the slope so the mulch doesn't just slide down the slope. Make sure to use that jute netting. Anyway, back to wood mulch. Lots of different kinds of wood mulch out there, depending on where you live. You have the walk-on bark, the small bark. You have painted mulch, which is kind of nice because it'll hold that color for about a year. Different kinds of painted or dyed mulch, and of course shredded, which is what I tend to recommend folks that go with the one. I have wood mulch and here's another example of shredded mulch. And shredded mulch is great because if you live someplace where you get some heavy rains from time to time in the winter time, this won't move. Really good for slopes because the shredded fibrous quality tends to lock up and hold itself. But again, every 3 years, you have to replenish it. So again, with rock mulch and wood mulch, rock mulch is more money up front, lower maintenance. Wood mulch is a little bit better for the plants, and but it has a little higher maintenance quality to it. And so those are the kind of the two different advantages and disadvantages of wood mulch versus rock mulch. Well, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to hit that like button if it was helpful and subscribe to get more of my garden videos. Until next time, this is Doug, the 2-Minute Gardener, saying thanks for watching.